be a master of Pokémon. Do you have the skills to be number one? I want to take the ultimate step, find the courage to be bold, to risk it all and not forget the lessons that I hold.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 120 of the Pokemon Snapshot. How are you today, Josh?
I'm at the midway point of summer, and it has been a great month so far. What about you?
Well, that just means you keep going, and now you're closer to school starting again.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna enjoy the second month I have.
It's fine. We're recording on a Thursday as we usually do. It's my Friday because I get Friday off this week because of the 4th coming up. It'll already have passed by the time you guys listen to this. And I am leaving for vacation next week.
Ooh, nice. Where are you going?
We are going to Iowa to visit my family, but also...
Oh, is it really a vacation if you're going to Iowa though?
Yeah, I know, but I'm kind of excited because some of my cousins from Minnesota that I have not seen in like a decade are coming to visit. So
Nice.
it'll be a fun time. But I have also been playing the new Star Fox game on my Switch too.
Ooh, how is that?
So for any of you who like Star Fox 64, you're gonna like this game. It is a 1-to-1 remake. The graphics are gorgeous. The music is amazing. I played it my first time through and realized that I needed some practice, so I ended up going the easy route, and I actually had to use a continue, but then the next time I played it, I went the hard route and didn't die until the final level.
Yeah, I was getting a text from Jeff about how bad he was at this game.
Yeah,
I would be
I'm
terrible.
getting better.
No.
It's fun. Here's the thing, and I will tell people, if you're not the type of person to replay a game, it's not going to be worth the $50 that you're going to pay for it, because it is a short game, because the original game was short. But in one playthrough, you are not going to unlock all the levels. So you want to play through again. And then this version, they added different cinematic pieces to between each of the level to kind of explain the story, and they changed things up where if you got the alternate route, you can still choose to go the other way if you needed to do something on this other level. And then they also added a challenge mode, which each level has 6 normal challenges and 6 expert challenges that you just go and select the level and can just play through the level. I have not tried that bit yet. I'm on my 3rd playthrough of just the regular levels. I got my first medal, so I got enough shots to get a medal on one of my levels, and
Nice.
I'm really enjoying the game.
Yeah, I might get it for my nephew, but I haven't played any Star Fox since the N64 days.
Well, this is the perfect time because this is what the game's based off of.
Yeah. I beat the first video game that I have played to completion in over 2 years, like a couple days ago. I finally beat Alan Wake 2, and it was
Awesome.
amazing. I probably give it like, it's hard for me to like truly rate games because like I could criticize like certain aspects of the game, but the overall experience that I had with it was so good that it's like, it feels like a 10 out of 10 when it's really probably like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, when I rate a game, I really like how IGN gives each number like a word. So they do 10 out of 10 is a masterpiece, 9 is amazing, 8 is a great game, 7 is a good game, and 6 is just okay. And then they go,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is after that. And so that kind of helps me did I think this game was amazing, great,
Yeah.
or just good? And there's nothing wrong with a good game.
Right.
I think every now and then we need those games that are just a 7 out of 10. But so, yeah, it is hard to rate games. But
Yeah.
I laugh at you like I've beaten my first game in 2 years, and I think I'm on game 15 this year.
Yeah. Wow. I just go in like cycles of like, I'll be really into reading a book or playing video games or just watching TV or podcasts or whatever. But like, I can't do them all at the same time. I don't know. It's weird. It's probably an ADHD thing, but like, I just haven't been interested in playing video games for like 2 years. And I've tried a couple and didn't really get that far into them. Even though I liked them, I just didn't get hooked. but Alan Wake hooked me, and then Control Resonant comes out in just a couple months, and it's
And September is so full of games
yeah,
because they
yeah, it's
all are
crazy.
trying to avoid
GTA
GTA
6.
6
Yeah.
because Wolverine also comes out in September.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I wanna play both of those
And
games.
then I think the new Silent Hill game, which I'm not gonna play, but that also comes out like the same day as Control.
Yeah.
It's
I
Sep
don't enjoy peeing on myself, so I'm not gonna be playing Silent
yeah.
Hill.
But September's crazy. Unfortunately, I also loved Control, but I think I'm gonna have to play Wolverine over Control because I like the X-Men just a little bit more.
Yeah, fair enough, but
But which is good because then when we're talking on what we've been playing, we'll be talking about different games.
mhm,
All right, let's go on to some Pokemon news. There wasn't a lot in the last 2 weeks. Pokemon this week did just announce some new Funko Pops. I don't know what to call this one. I just called it Charizard Cinematic. So I have a Venusaur. I think it's right behind me. Hold on. So this Venusaur, like, is cinematic. See how it's like doing the
it's
whole,
doing stuff.
it's doing stuff. So there's a new Charizard one coming
Mhm,
out. But there's a new Charizard one coming out, and he's like flying and breathing fire.
cool.
So the cinematic ones, I don't know. That's just the name I've given them.
Mhm,
They're a little more expensive than your normal Funko Pop, but $20, which actually to me isn't bad with how much bigger like there is going on, especially since they raised the regular price of a Funko Pop to 15 instead of 12. And then there's also a big Pikachu that is $20, but I didn't look at anything special. It was just a bigger version of Pikachu. And then the regular Funkos Pops that are coming out, they have a War Turtle, which is great because they have recently released Charmeleon and Ivysaur, so you get the
mhm,
third one in the set. Then we get two versions of Lycanroc, the midday form and the midnight form. Because I believe in the game, whether you evolve his earlier form, which I'm forgetting the name of, during the day or during the night, depends on what form of Lycanroc you get. And so those are all coming out in August, I believe. I have War Turtle and the two Lycanrocs pre-ordered on
mhm,
Amazon, but I could not find a pre-order link for the new Charizard.
hmm. It's
And I
probably
wasn't
highly in demand.
probably, and I wasn't going to get the Pikachu. And I already have a regular Charizard, so who knows if I really don't need it. The only reason I got the giant Venusaur is because they released the cinematic Venusaur before they released a regular Venusaur Funko
Oh, yeah,
Pop.
yeah.
And it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing with Blastoise. But that one has not officially been announced yet. It's just been rumored. And then our other bit of Pokemon news is on July 6th, Pokemon Go is celebrating its 10th anniversary.
We lived in the same town when, it debuted. No, wait, no,
No,
we
we
didn't.
didn't.
No,
No,
we
we
didn't. I
didn't.
guess it was right after. No.
It was 2016.
Yeah, that's right, it was a year after. I
Yeah,
don't know, dude, time is a flat circle, I can't keep it all straight anymore.
2016. I just remember when it first come out, we were going on walks with like Kyrie was just 1 year old because she turned 10 this year. And we'd go on walks and play Pokemon. I don't play Pokemon Go a lot. I might download the app if we go somewhere just to
Mhm,
play while like waiting in line when we go to like amusement parks.
yeah.
But besides that, I don't really play anymore. But it has
I've
a
never even tried it.
big fan base.
Mm. Still? That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going. They're getting ready to they do like Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago every year. All right. So let's go on to our question. We did not get a lot of question answers or any comments really. So this will be a quick segment, but our question of the week last week was what are some weird home remedies? And Kate had an answer for us and she said my favorite one was my grandmother's cramp tea for menstrual cramps. She used to give it to me but didn't tell me what was in it until I was older. It turned out to just be black tea with a shot of whiskey. That is
Kate's gr
such a grandma thing to do.
uh, Kate's grandma sounds cool.
All right. And now let's go on to our next segment.
Education!
And Kate had a few things to tell us. She said salvia is just a type of sage, but it's so unpredictable as to how it acts on the brain. So that's talking about the salvia that was sold at Hot Topic that Josh informed me about. The Coriolis effect on intestinal spiral direction is wild to think about. That's talking about how they said that polywag swirl rotates in different ways depending on where it is in relation to the equator, just like the Coriolis effect on real world.
Yep.
And
I'm gonna pretend like I knew what she was talking about in the Discord when she was talking about this.
And then the last bit she said was washing a child's mouth out with soap does qualify as endangering a child in most states due to the risks of poisoning, vomiting, GI upset, etc.
I can guarantee you that Alabama is not one of those states.
It also is an effective strategy as it just encourages strategic use of swears instead of learning better language.
Mm-hmm. And I got very strategic with my swears.
And then don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms, and if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. All right, Josh, let's go on to our next segment.
Previously on Pokemon.
All right, so Team Ash lands on Rind Island, where Ash is supposedly training for the League Championship alongside an utterly useless Not Brock. Disaster strikes when Ash and Not Brock trip headfirst into a wild Vileplume's flower, Diaphragm, because we learned about that last week, and breathe in some pure stun spores, sending them on a bad trip straight to the nearest conveniently clean cottage. With the boys slowly fading away, Not Brock takes a moment on his deathbed to mansplain the Pokedex to Misty, who leaves a babysitting Pikachu completely in charge of the sick boys and goes to look for the remedy, Salveo weed. Meanwhile, Team Rocket's cabin is dilapidated and probably full of asbestos, and Jessie milks her own stun spore affliction for all it's worth by aggressively demanding ice cream. This leaves James and Meowth to don traditional Japanese festival gear to hunt down the Salveo weed as well. Misty uses Goldeen to cleanly wreck Team Rocket, and a wild Poliwag helps her harvest enough aquatic Salveo weed to be a felony in all 50 states and Puerto Rico. James and Meowth attempt to ambush Misty by setting a trap based on dresses, makeup, and pure misogyny before recalibrating into a bizarre cross-dressing antebellum Southern woman ruse. Ultimately, Misty shows that she has a heart by leaving a zip of weed behind for Jessie. The boys make a full recovery, and the game is left to marvel at Team Rocket as Ash delivers the line.
They keep getting weirder.
And that was our episode. All right. Let's go on to this week's episode. Hello. Okay. You know what, Josh? Let's talk about it right here.
Okay. So I have a confession to make. If you look at the title of the episode and you read it in your head, I hope that you all say it the same way I did, because I thought it was Hello Pumello, because that makes way more sense.
That's how I said it at the end of last week's the last episode.
But in the episode, they're going to continually say they're going to say Pummelo, which I don't think is right.
I have polled many people. Well, no, just my wife, but also,
but she contains multitudes.
Yeah, 2 different AIs just to see how to pronounce this. I've Googled it, and I think the consensus has come down. It is pronounced Pumello.
So, but that's not the confession that I have to make. So I watched this episode, and the whole time I'm like mildly annoyed that the name of the episode doesn't flow the way that it does in my head. Hello, Pumello. So I watched the episode and I'm like, when's the Pumello going to show up? Why is there no Pumello here? And so I get to the end of the episode, and spoiler alert, a Pumello never shows up. And so I text Jeff and I'm like, why is the name of this episode Hello Pumello when there's no Pumello in the episode? And he says, what are you talking about? A Pumello is a citrus fruit.
Yeah, it's a grapefruit.
And I said, oh. the entire time until after I had gone through the episode, I thought Pumello was a Pokemon. the whole time.
Nope,
Uh,
the title is just saying hello to the island because they're
I th-
on Pumello Island
I thought
or
Ash was gonna get
Pummelo.
it. I thought Ash was gonna get a new Pokemon. Well, Not Brock says Pumello Island, or actually he says Pummelo Island at the beginning of the episode, but I guess I wasn't paying attention and missed it. So yeah,
You
and
tuned
Pumello,
out not Brock as usual.
yeah, I know it's typical. But Pumello sounds like a Pokemon's name, does it not?
I guess I could see if you did not know, you would think it's a Pokemon.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was just a funny text conversation Josh and I had earlier this week.
I'm constantly amazed at the endless stupidity that comes from me.
I was just confused when you texted me.
I'm astounded by my own stupidity.
All right. So going into this week's episode, we have Hello Pumello. I'm going to say Pumello because that makes sense. And that's how
Yeah.
we have learned it's
It
pronounced.
it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Or as it was known in Japanese, the Winner's Cup, a 6-on-6 full battle.
Much better title.
That was really,
Much
really
more fun title anyway.
Yeah. It aired on September 2nd, 1999 in Japan, or September 23rd, 2000 in the United States. So let's go into the world news for this day in 2000. I will say next week's episode aired on the exact same day. So I actually looked this time. So I'm going to split it up. Today we're going to be just talking about the top movie and the top song from on September 23rd, 2000, which actually this would have been my brother's 7th birthday. No, 8th. He was born in 92. uh so the top movie of this day was Urban Legends Final Cut. It was released in the twilight of the post-Scream teen slasher boom. This horror sequel stabbed its way to the #1 spot, bringing in $8.5 million for its opening weekend. Swapping the original movie's college campus for a prestigious film school, the plot follows a student director, played by a Once Upon a Time Jennifer Morrison. That was kind of cool. I watched Once Upon a Time. You ever watch Once Upon a Time?
No, but she was in House, and I watched
Was
all
she
of
in
that.
house? Okay. Well, I watched all but the last season Once Upon a Time because it really went off the rails.
Mhm.
But so played by Once Upon a Time Jennifer Morrison, whose crew members are systematically murdered by a killer in a fencing mask. While critics universally panned it for leaning away from actual urban legends in favor of meta filmmaking tropes, it beat out stiff competition, including a massive theatrical re-release of The Exorcist that claimed the weekend crown.
Crazy how it got the #1 spot by bringing in $8.5 million for its opening
Yeah,
weekend.
it must have been. I mean, end of September is not really big movie time.
Yeah.
I don't think very often so there must have not been a lot going on because we've talked about some pretty big movies. I mean, we talked about like August and September where like Bring It On. So all those movies are starting to wind down.
Yeah. I
Uh,
miss
the
the I
number,
miss the days where going to see a movie was a big activity for people.
yeah, and now it's most of the time we're just like, let's wait till it gets on streaming
Exactly.
because it's so
We're one
expensive.
step closer to Wally, which I'm not totally opposed to.
I'm just gonna say, as a family of 4, it costs like $80 to go see a movie.
Mhm.
Once you factor in the popcorn and everything. All right, going on to the #1 song of this week, it was music by Madonna. It was the second of 4 consecutive weeks of the top spot for this track, which served as the lead single and title track of her 8th studio album. Synthesizing electronic dance pop with a bit of a futuristic cowgirl aesthetic, it became her 12th #1 hit in the United States. I don't know this song,
I could
so
I don't know. I probably have heard it. I would listen to you describe Madonna songs all day, Jeff.
I'm just giving what I found.
Mhm.
All right, Josh, let's go into this week's episode.
This is Hello Pumello, not to be confused with Pummelo. We call it the Pummelo or the Pumello mix-up. This is the official name for that. As Team Ash reaches Pummelo Island, named after a common citrus fruit that I now know, we finally arrive at a good episode. Ash, in his excitement, slips off Lapras's back and falls into the sea, but unfortunately doesn't drown. Are there sharks in the Pokemon world?
Yeah, because Sharpedo, that's a shark.
Okay, because like if I'm in the middle of the ocean and I fall in where it's that deep, I'm just gonna be certain that a shark is waiting right there to eat me alive. But Ash just lets it roll off. It makes me wonder: does the Pokemon world have non-Pokemon animals?
So it's interesting because in the earlier seasons, like if they go to an aquarium, you see real fish swimming around.
Okay, because then it took me down a trail of thoughts. If they don't have real world like regular animals in the Pokemon world, what do they eat? Do they eat the Pokemon?
Well, I believe it's Farfetch that says that like people that it's rare because people have been hunting it
Mm.
and they cook it with the leek it holds.
Oh, that's right. So they do eat the Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, and as we will see as we go farther and farther down these seasons, it is less and less common that we see real world animals, but that's probably just because there's more Pokemon they can throw in there. Like when you're in an aquarium, they only have, I mean, for fish, you had Golding or Seeking. You didn't really
Yeah,
have
I
much of an option.
and they hadn't invented the Sharknado at that point.
No, Sharpedo would be a Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah. As Ash returns to Lapras's back, they spot a mysterious Pokemon flying in the distance, which means it's time to roll the title card.
Hello, Pummelo!
Ash, you said it wrong.
Moron. Jeff, do we want to spoil what the flying Pokemon was for everyone, or just let them find out when the time comes?
Yeah, let's just say because Knobrock has some stupidity coming up that involves this Pokemon.
Yeah.
They see a Dragonite flying over the water.
It's a Dragonite. Dragonites are cool.
Dragonite is probably in my top 3 Pokemon.
Nice. As Team Ash moves through a TSA checkpoint, I guess in this world it's a PSA checkpoint, an agent scans his badges. After confirming Ash's identity, he tells Ash that his match is scheduled for 10 a.m. the next morning. Meanwhile, Notbrock looks at a statue of a Dragonite and is like, "What is this thing? It looks so familiar. How has this man never seen a Dragonite before? A Dragonite's literally just like a chill Charizard."
Yeah, and it's weird, and we'll talk about it also later. He is infatuated by this statue.
Mhm.
Like, he is so surprised, like, he's never even seen a Pokemon statue.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. You have to think, even if he's never seen a Dragonite, because they are rare, he's at least heard of it.
Right. The PSA agent shows Ash to the Pumello Stadium as well as the Orange League Hall of Fame. Jeff, do you want to tell the good people out there like what all they have at the Hall of Fame as well as this battle's rules?
Yeah, sure. So they go to this Hall of Fame is called the Palace of Victory.
Pretty good name.
Pretty good, which the agent explains is the official name, but most people just call it the Orange League Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I like how the locals are just like, Palace of Victory? That just sounds stupid. Let's just call it what it is.
they're sick of these Orange Island gym leaders and all their nonsense.
Yeah. So this is where they put the pictures of everyone who has defeated the Orange League final member, which is cool because that's what happens in the actual games. So the Orange League is more like the games than, the actual leagues in the anime are.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are forever enshrined here with their Pokemon. He also drops the info that this battle will be a full 6-on-6 battle, which Ash is completely surprised about. But, Ash, if you would have done better in the Indigo League, you would have actually had a 6-on-6 battle.
Did he not do any research into this battle? Well, clearly not. We're going to see that he clearly did not as we go.
Does
forward.
this surprise you?
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
Do you forget Ash is the person who goes to a new region and he's like, "Oh, there's a league championship?"
Knobrock asks what the Pokemon statue is, and the guy says Dragonite, and then Knobrock says, "I knew it." No, you didn't, Knobrock. You absolutely did not. Apparently, Dragonite can fly faster than any Pokemon. I didn't know that, so that's pretty sweet. The agent says it's the gym leader's Dragonite and that Ash is going to get absolutely wrecked like rednecks on the 4th of July promptly at 10 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, so the agent says that no one has ever beaten Drake. That's the gym leader's name. And he's the leader of the Orange Crew. I mean, is it a little narcissistic of him to put a Pokemon all like a statue of his Pokemon all around?
Yeah.
Like when he eventually retires, the local people have to go around and take all of these statues down.
Over in the stadium, the gym leader, named Drake, wonders if anyone will ever beat all the Orange Island leaders. Did they say his name at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Or
okay.
else I just knew it and just wrote it in. I don't know.
Because I don't remember, because I just called him gym leader guy or the GLG. They do say his name later, but for right now, he's just going to be the gym leader guy. Suddenly, Team Rocket shows up and threatens the GLG, which is pretty high up on their list of dumbest schemes. Like, they get clapped by Team Ash on a weekly basis, but they're going to come steal the GLG's Dragonite. It's like, come on, Team Rocket, I expect better from you. Dragonite's Hyper Beam sends Team Rocket blasting off 5 minutes and 10 seconds into the episode, so you know they're going to be back. Also, remind me of the rules for taking someone else's Pokemon. I've asked you this like once an episode, but I can never remember.
The rules are that you can't throw a Pokeball at an owned Pokemon, which in the games, I believe Professor Oak yells at you if you try to do it. And yeah, this scene right here, I like how the writers are like, we need Team Rocket, but we also don't need Team Rocket in this episode. So let's just get rid of them quickly.
Yeah, but usually when they blast off early in an episode, you know they're going to blast back at some point. At the Poké Center, Ash throws out all of his Pokemon, which consist of Pikachu, Squirtle, Lapras. He has 2 water Pokemon, which is horrible strategy. Charizard, Bulbasaur, and Snorlax. Ash starts freaking out because Snorlax won't wake up, and Nurse Joy calmly explains that Snorlax won't wake up again until it's hungry unless it senses danger. I would have lectured Ash about showing up unprepared. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
So from what we're learning here is having a Snorlax as a Pokemon, it just seems like a liability.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Why would anyone choose to have it on their team if it's asleep, you can't wake it up?
Yep, I had the exact same thought go through my mind. Ash calls Professor Oak to ask for advice on what Pokemon to replace Snorlax with, and Professor Oak suggests Kingler, Muck, and Tauros. And I'll be honest, if those were the best choices I had, I would just go into the fight a man down. I'd take 5 Pokemon into the battle and just hope for the best over taking one of those 3. Ash somehow ends up picking the worst of the 3 because he just can't help being himself. Which one would you, before we tell the people which one it is, which one would you have picked, Jeff?
Out of those 3, I would definitely choose Muck.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Mostly because Muck is just funny to me. It's basically sentient diarrhea with the demeanor of a really friendly but stupid dog. So it's always trying to crawl all over Ash, which is funny. Strategically, it might be the best too.
Yeah, and Kingler or Muck were the smart choice because, for one, they both have been in battles before. But that's not who Ash chooses.
He chooses the Tauros.
He chooses the Tauros. And, you know, at this point, he should just send all of his Pokemon to Professor Oak and just come fully with a team of 6 Tauros. He has enough of them.
Seems like a very Ash thing to do. Ash and not Brock think Ash will have the beginner's luck effect and do really well with Tauros, like he did with Krabby. And the beginner's luck effect is just not a real thing. That's like saying I could go up against Spain in soccer just by myself and I might have a chance because of the beginner's luck effect. Tauros is super stoked to be out with Ash because the pasture where he stays is facing towards Professor Oak's bedroom window, and you don't even want to know what he and Ash's mom have been getting up to. Ash has been gone a while and things are starting to get weird.
They keep getting weirder.
Yes, they do. That evening, Team Rocket is walking on the beach and licking their wounds when some dude in a car set up with a speaker system drives around to promote the battle. And some rando on the street comments, they finally found a challenger. So how often are people showing up to challenge the GLG? Does he have, like, does he never have people to face and he's just sitting there, like, at the stadium waiting for people to show up?
So when Ash goes to sign up, the agent says, another one, eh? So more people are signing up. Also, Ash's battle wasn't happening until 10 the next morning, so you think other battles were happening at this time.
Yeah, I don't know why
I
that rando is like they finally found a challenger.
I think it has to do something with 4 kids just not being the greatest at dubbing things.
Fair enough. Well, well, then if he is just sitting around waiting for challengers, then I'm like, does he have a second job? Because surely he doesn't make enough if he rarely has Pokemon fights. Does he get paid to do it at all? Or is it just something that I don't know how it works? Are all of his needs met by the government? I don't know. I want to know what kind of government they have in the Pokemon world because honestly, sign me up.
Well, we've talked about this before because if you go to some of these old gym leaders, I mean, Brock and Misty are literal children and they were running gyms.
I don't know.
Sabrina tried to kidnap them and turn them into dolls. Like, I don't think there's any governing over these gym leaders.
Oh, I don't know. I'm surely someone's done like a deep dive. People probably wrote papers in college about this, right?
Maybe.
Like the Pokemon world is like
I do have
a Marxist utopia.
I do have a book on my shelf over there called The Psychology of Pokemon, so
You're going to need to read it and then write a book report for me. Whatever kind of government whatever kind of government it is that they have in this world is what is to me what Nazi Germany is to Stephen Miller. Meowth gets the bright idea to let the challenger weaken the Dragonite and then steal it. It's like, dude, you failed to steal the Pokemon when the GLG was alone, so now you're going to attempt to steal the Pokemon in the middle of a battle? Like, this episode has me disappointed in Team Rocket for once. Nevertheless, can we get some quick audio of Meowth whisper-splaining the plan to Jesse and James?
Ah, I just got a great idea. Let's hear. That Dragonite's too tough for us to capture, but not if we let that challenger soften it up.
Tell us more.
How are we going to do it?
Works for me.
I just love a good whisper-splain. The next morning, the gym leader guy, whose name is actually Drake, we learn at this point, is going to beat someone today, and it's probably a minor. I really hope you got that one, Jeff.
You know what? Now that you said it that way, I do.
Okay.
That's yes.
Everyone else listening to this is going to get it, but it was a toss-up if Jeff would get it.
Hold on. Let me try to. So, because when Kendrick Lamar did the Super Bowl halftime, one of my friends had to explain like all that was going on, and so only because of that, I understand.
Good. Drake looks so happy to finally have something to do, but honestly, he seems like a pretty good guy, unlike the other Drake. The referee explains the rules, and Jeff, can you explain the rules of this match as well as what we see going on with the stadium?
Yeah, so the rules of the match are that the challenger, Ash, can switch out his Pokemon at any time in the 6-on-6 battle, but Drake is not able to switch out his Pokemon. And so the stadium, it looks like a normal stadium, but then the floor opens up and a bunch of rocks appear with a pond in the middle. And I think they said after 3 Pokemon are out on one team, the field will change.
Yep, that's what they said. So pretty interesting setup for a battle. In the crowd, Team Rocket is stunned to see that the challenger is Ash. Like, Team Rocket, y'all have followed Team Ash for 120 plus episodes at this point. Why are you surprised that the kid who has been slowly traveling through the Orange Islands and collecting gym leader badges would show up to fight the gym leader that you just tried to rob? And with that, it takes us into...
Who's that Pokemon?
All right. Our Who's That Pokemon for this week is Tauros.
I also remember thinking, I can't wait until the Who's That Pokemon so I get to see a picture of a Pumello.
I wish you would have told me you were going to say that. I would have had a picture of a grapefruit for you, and that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
So this is a Tauros. Tauros also has 3 different Paldean forms. We have the Paldean. So actually, let me go through this way. So Tauros, whose name in Japanese is Kentauros. It's number 128 in the Pokedex. Its Cantonian version is a normal type. Then you have the Paldean combat version, which is a fighting type. You have the Paldean Blaze version, which is fighting and fire type.
That one actually looks kind of cool.
And then you have the Paldean Aqua version, which is fighting and water type.
Does not look as cool. Honestly, I can't believe they put this much thought into a Tauros.
Well, if you really think, Paldea is based off of Spain.
Okay, well, okay,
So
fair enough.
and we'll get more into what each of these are based off of when we go into their origin.
Okay.
So all Tauros are 4'7" tall. You'd think they'd be bigger, but I guess it depends on. I guess you don't count their head, though. Their head is kind of lower than their neck if you look
Yeah.
at them.
Right.
So for their weight, the Cantonian version is 194.9 pounds. The combat version is 253.5 pounds. The Blaze version is 187.4 pounds. And the Aqua version is 242.5 pounds. And they are all known as the Wild Bull Pokemon, and they do not evolve. All right, Taurus's name. Taurus's English name is directly derived from Taurus, the Latin word for bull. This linguistic choice is also a clear reference to Taurus, the mythological bull constellation and astrological zodiac sign. By altering the spelling from Taurus to Tauros, the name incorporates a classic Greek suffix os, giving the wild bull Pokemon a timeless ancient name that mirrors its fierce and historic design. In Japanese, Tauros is known as Kintauros, which draws from an entirely different mythological creature. The name is a direct transliteration of Kintauros, the ancient Greek root word for centaur, a legendary mythological creature that is half human and half horse. While Tauros physically is a multi-tailed bull rather than a centaur, the name choice likely highlights its status as a burly, half-bovine quadruped beast deeply rooted in ancient warrior lore. What is Tauros based off of? Tauros is primarily based on a real-world bull. It also incorporates design traits from the bison, particularly in its shaggy mane covering its neck and shoulders. Looking closely at its three tails, it also draws a subtle conceptual tie to the whip used by cattle drivers or matadors, as it physically lashes its own body with its tails to whip itself into a charging frenzy. When it comes to its regional Paldean variants introduced in Generation 9, the inspirations pivot heavily towards the culture and history of the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, and Portugal, since the Paldea region is directly modeled after that real-world area. The baseline Paldean Tauros, known as Combat Breed, trades its shaggy brown fur for a sleek jet black appearance. This design directly references the famous Spanish fighting bull, Toro Bravo, a breed specifically historically selected for its fierce, aggressive temperament and use in traditional bullfighting. The Blaze breed variant, which gains a dual fighting fire typing, incorporates the conceptual theme of a literal raging fire. Visually, its horns glow white hot at the tips and its shaggy mane takes on a flame-like quality. This serves as a brilliant cultural nod to the historic, though controversial, Toro Toro, would that be Jubilo?
Pumello.
Yeah. So Toro Jubilo or Toro de Fuego, fire bull festivals of Spain, where a bull is traditionally released into an arena with torches safely attached to its horns. Finally, the Aqua breed variant shifts to a fighting water typing and features distinctive shaped horns used to propel itself through the water. This form is inspired by the Toros al Agua, bulls to the sea festivals celebrated in coastal Spanish regions like Denia, where bulls are chased down a pier until they plunge into the Mediterranean Sea. Well, that sounds horrible. Additionally, its physical profile and aquatic adaptability lean into an anatomy of the water buffalo, blending real-world zoology with local Iberian traditions to complete Taurus's diverse regional roster.
So the important question is what about the bulls on parade? That's a Rage Against the Machine reference. Don't worry about it.
I did not get that reference. You just have to understand I'm not going to get music references.
I know, but some folks out there will.
All right, Taurus's biology. Tauros is a quadrupedal bovine Pokemon enveloped in light brown fur with a thick, dark brown mane cloaking its neck. Its powerful silhouette features a distinct shoulder hump, a rounded muzzle with a dark nose, small triangular eyes, and a pair of curved gray horns growing from its crown. 3 gray bumps run vertically down its forehead, while a single gray hoof caps each foot. Notably, this fiercely territorial species is entirely male only. Driven by a violent and rowdy nature, Tauros habitually whips itself into a frenzy using its 3 black tufted tails, a behavior that serves as a dire warning that it is about to charge. Once it builds up astonishing speed, it is physically unable to stop or alter its course until it collides with the target, possessing enough raw power to smash cleanly through large boulders. These Pokemon live and travel in herds across vast plains and grasslands, frequently locking horns with one another to establish dominance. Within the herd, the designated protector takes immense pride in its battle-scarred horns. While notoriously ferocious, Tauros exhibit a much calmer demeanor in the Alola region, a shift attributed to the warm island climate. This
They hit that warm weather and they were like, bro. But have you ever just tried to like have you ever just tried to chill?
This relaxed temperament gave rise to the practice of using them as ride Pokemon, a tradition that began in Alola and continues to this day. Conversely, Tauros native to the Galar region are exceptionally volatile and actively resist being ridden. Across its various habitats, Tauros is the only known Pokemon capable of mastering the devastating signature move, Raging Bull. In the Paldea region, Tauros has adapted into 3 distinct regional forms collectively known as the Wild Bulls of Paldea. While all 3 variations share a base aesthetic, sporting dark gray fur, thick black manes, gray horns, black hooves, and dark gray tails with black tips, they are uniquely differentiated by the shapes of their horns, manes, and tails. Each variant also features 3 vertical gray forehead bumps that increase in size from top to bottom. The combat breed closely mirrors the original Cantonian form with its traditional mane and tail structure, but features short, rounded, and nearly straight horns renowned for its thick, powerful musculature and aggressive disposition. This pure fighting type is a master of close quarters combat, expertly using its horns to target and strike an opponent's weak spot. The dual fighting fire type Blaze breed is defined by sharp horns that point forward and bend sharply at right angles, a spiky mane streaked with fiery red and lightly intertwined tail. This breed earns its name from the scorching air it exhales from its nostrils. When channeling its internal fire energy, its horns and forehead bumps glow a brilliant red. These horns can surpass temperatures of 1800 degrees Fahrenheit or 1000 degrees Celsius, ensuring that anyone unfortunate enough to be gored suffers both severe puncture wounds and intense burns.
And death.
And yeah, don't forget about that part.
You ain't coming back from that one.
The fighting water type Aqua breed is built for the sea, featuring a high body fat percentage that allows it to float with ease. Its mane flows downward like a beard, accented by 5 teardrop-shaped blue markings, and its straight tails can twist into a propeller shape to drive through the water. Its unique horns point upward but can rotate backwards. Each features 2 bulbous segments and a specialized hole at the tip. By unleashing high-pressure water jets from these holes and using its propeller tail, the Aqua breed swims effortlessly and can pierce right through its enemies. When launching an attack, its horns and forehead bumps illuminate in a vibrant light blue. All right, let's go on to some Pokedex entries. Red and Blue says, when it targets an enemy, it charges furiously while whipping its body with its long tails. Pokemon Yellow says, a rowdy Pokemon with a lot of stamina. Once running, it won't stop until it hits something. Pokemon Stadium says, charges while whipping its hefty body with its tails. Although powerful, it can charge only in a straight line. No turning for Tauros. Pokemon Gold says, they fight each other by locking horns. The herd's protector takes pride in its battle-scarred horns. Pokemon Silver says, after heightening its will to fight by whipping itself with its 3 tails, it charges at full speed. Pokemon Crystal says, these violent Pokemon fight with other members of the herd in order to prove their strength. Which, going with that fighting, it would have been cool for, I guess the Gold and Silver were created after this Tauros existed. But like the Tauros Ash chooses to have those scars on it. So like Ash is choosing the leader of the herd. Ruby and Sapphire says this Pokemon is not satisfied unless it's rampaging at all times. If there is no opponent for Tauros to battle, it will charge at thick trees and knock them down to calm itself.
Only one way to calm down.
Knock over a tree. Fire Red says when it's about to tackle, it whips its body repeatedly with its 3 long tails. Diamond and Pearl says once it takes aim at its foe, it makes a headlong charge. It is famous for its violent nature. We've had some pretty violent Pokemon these last few episodes.
Yeah, we
Not
have.
counting Poliwag, we've done Mankey and Gyarados and now Tauros. Everyone just needs to chill.
I know. Get some of that Salveo weed and calm down.
Pokemon Sun says historically, people in areas all over the world have ridden Tauros, but the practice is said to have started in Alola. Pokemon Moon says, although it's known to be a fierce Pokemon, Tauros in the Alola region are said to possess a measure of calmness. A measure of calmness. Pokemon Ultra Sun says they live in groups. The one with the longest, thickest, and most scarred horns is the boss of the herd.
Okay, I didn't know what we were going. I didn't know where we were going after those first 2 adjectives.
Pokemon Ultra Moon says the climate seems to be related to the reason Pokemon Ultra Moon says the climate seems to be related to the reason Tauros and Alola are a little calmer than those in other regions. It
That's
might
why
not.
why they're more chill.
Yeah, they're just lazing on the beach. Pokemon Sword says when Tauros begins whipping itself with its tails, it's a warning that the Pokemon is about to charge with astounding speed. And Pokemon Shield says the Tauros of Galar are volatile in nature and they won't allow people to ride on their backs.
Pretty lame of them.
They need to take a page out of the Alola Tauros's book.
Just go on a little vacay.
And then here's a couple for the combat breed. Pokemon Scarlet for the combat breed says this Pokemon has a muscular body and excels at close quarters combat. It uses its short horns to strike its opponent's weak spots. Pokemon Violet for the combat breed says this kind of Tauros, known as the combat breed, is distinguished by its thick, powerful muscles and its fierce disposition. Pokemon Scarlet for the Blaze breed said when heated by fire energy, its horns can get hotter than 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Those gored by them will suffer both wounds and burns.
And deaths.
And death, yeah. Like, the wounds and the burns are nothing compared to just, you're going to die if this thing gores you. Pokemon Violet for the Blaze breed says people call this kind of Tauros the Blaze breed due to the hot air it snorts from its nostrils. Its 3 tails are intertwined.
Hot air is not the same thing as a blaze. These people are dumb.
Pokemon Scarlet for the Aqua breed says this Pokemon blasts water from holes on the tips of its horns. The high pressure jets pierce right through Taurus's enemies. And then Pokemon Violet for the Aqua breed says it swims by jetting water from its horns. The most notable characteristic of the Aqua breed is its high body fat, which allows it to float easily. And that is our Who's That Pokemon segment on Tauros.
Who's that Pokemon?
Back in the episode, Drake throws out Ditto, and I thought I was going to like this guy, but it turns out he's a pun guy. He says, here's a Pokemon that'll make an impression, and he throws out a Ditto. I hate the Drake. I used to love the Drake. Now I hate the Drake. Ash throws out Pikachu. No one saw that coming. And Ditto transforms into Pikachu, and then they use the same attacks on each other, which is very boring to watch. Ditto pretty much just takes Pikachu shocks and tires it out while letting the rough terrain damage Pikachu. Honestly, it's pretty good strategy if you ask me to use the Ditto, since your opponent's going to start with one of their best Pokemon, and then your Ditto is going to take minimal damage while the opponent is beaten by the environment. But fortunately, Pikachu is strong, and even though it's bruised and broken, it electro tail slaps Ditto and sends it flying back into a pile of silly putty.
Yeah, so Ash pretty much says that it's just an imitation, which will never beat the real thing, which that actually kind of got me thinking. I don't think using a Ditto is a good strategy.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like, that old saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Mm-hmm.
There is no possible way you will be able to know everything about every single Pokemon, and the trainers
Right.
are always going to know more about their Pokemon
Yeah.
than you will.
Right.
They Ash knows how to fight with a Pikachu. And so if you notice, Ash used Pikachu's tail as a ground, the kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
which the Ditto did not try to do because Drake may. Well, for one, if someone's in a final battle of a league, they're probably not using an unevolved Pokemon.
Right. I only think it is a good strategy, like specifically for like a 6-on-6 battle, just because you know the opponent's going to put out one of their strongest Pokemon, and if you can tire it down just by hitting it over and over again with um its own attacks, it's not going to damage you. It's not going to damage them as much, but then like with Pikachu, it got hurt by the environment. So I think specifically for a battle like this, it's solid. It's an okay
Well,
strategy.
and if I remember correctly, you could also, I think they mentioned how Drake also lost this battle because even though the Ditto copied Pikachu, it doesn't copy its stats. So Pikachu was still faster and Ditto was still,
Yeah.
a pink blob,
Yeah.
not very fast.
It was still silly putty with a face. Drake makes more puns, and this guy is probably only slightly less corny than the real Drake. He throws out Onyx and says, "This Pokemon will rock you." Ash recalls Pikachu and sends out Squirtle. Squirtle water guns Onyx, but Onyx burrows into the ground and avoids it. Squirtle runs towards the pool in the middle of the arena, but Onyx smashes through the ground, sending Squirtle flying and catching it in a bind. Squirtle withdraws and then hydro pumps all over Onyx before skull bashing it into oblivion. And Drake has not been this confused since an underage Millie Bobby Brown spurned his advances.
Okay. My only reaction to Squirtle skull bashing Onyx is that he's going to have a bigger headache than Psyduck.
For sure. He makes his next pun, throwing out a Gengar and saying, "You don't stand a ghost of a chance," this guy. Ash sends out Tauros and hopes for some beginner's luck, but Gengar's confused absolutely destroys Tauros' mind, and it begins smashing its head into the nearby boulders. Ash recalls it and sends out Lapras, who dives underwater to avoid Gengar's hypnosis. Lapras lands a water gun attack, so Gengar uses Nightshade. Lapras counters with Ice Beam, and the two attacks connect, causing a huge black and white energy ball to form, which takes us into a good old-fashioned cliffhanger. And that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of the episode. And so what were your thoughts on this episode?
This was a good one. It's probably really like an 8.5 out of 10, but I'm grading on a scale. So compared to the last like 20 episodes or so, I give it a 4 billion out of 10.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm very happy we got to see some of Ash's actual competence.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun seeing him battle with Drake, and it's a big battle with a 6-on-6, and I like how the anime can turn these turn-based battles into like these cinematic showcases.
Yeah, that's really fun.
So I actually gave it a 9 out of 10. I think
Nice.
this was a really good. I think we're these next two episodes aren't the end of the Orange Islands arc, but we're getting there. But I thought this was a very good way to end. So going on to our question of the week, and I had a hard time because half this episode is a battle. So
Mhm.
so what I brought up was I thought it was crazy how Drake just put up all these statues of Dragonite around the town. And have you ever encountered any interesting statues that you were just like, why is that here?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't
So the
think
only thing
so.
I can really think of is this was when I might have been 10, maybe younger. I
Mhm.
remember going with my family and so they like put up all these Charlie Brown statues around Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so we went around the city just looking for these statues, and they were all painted in different, like this one was painted as a chef, this one. And
Uh-huh.
so I don't know. I remember doing that. I just thought that was a fun little story that we did.
I can't think of any statues that have been out of place, but I don't know.
I mean, any college campus always has weird statues, I
Yeah, it's
believe.
true.
Outside our dining center was like it was this weird statue of like these wireframe characters, and they're like
Mhm.
all on top of each other's shoulders. And one of my friends, his joke was always, he goes, "One day I'm gonna be the fourth naked man in that statue."
Dreams.
Yes. All right. So don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms. And if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. Anything else to add, Josh?
Nothing of substance, Jeff.
All right. So please join us next time when we will be watching Enter the Dragonite.